ReZero is a generational story, one that has brought fans together for over 10 plus years now, and is often considered the best isekai out there. And within this story, the phases are divided into what are called arcs, to which these arcs have been widely debated for years now among fans as to which is the best, with which every new arc coming out has changed. So today, that's exactly what this video is going to be about. My ranking of every single arc of ReZero and why I think, which goes where. Let me preface this with saying that I love ReZero and you love ReZero too. So don't get mad at me if I have a certain arc above another arc. I'm gonna do my best to explain my reasoning and exactly why I have that arc there and try to give a bit of depth as to why I like that arc so much compared to, another arc per se. So if you like this type of content and this analytical type of stuff, make sure you leave a like and subscribe for more ReZero stuff. I want to expand to other series, so let me know if you guys would like to see any other series. Anyways, let's just go ahead and get right into the video. Starting off in dead last, or I guess I shouldn't say dead last because there's really no dead last. Every single arc of ReZero has been very good, is Arc 1. Now, I didn't want to put Arc 1 in last, and honestly, when making this video, I was very stuck between Arc 1 and 2 for a lot of it because I really do think both of these arcs are great illustrations in the presentation of the beginning of the story. Arc 1 is able to characterize Subaru amazingly and subtly show his flaws from the very beginning. We are given a representation of who Natsuki Subaru is straight off the bat and, how he interacts with Emilia, and scenes like this right here where, we could see Subaru's flaws implementing themselves from the very start and the problems he was going to cause later for later arcs such as Arc 3 with his mindset. Arc 1 does a very good job at introducing us to the ReZero world and keeping that mystery aspect, and I think within the future this arc could honestly go up because Tappei has stated within a Q&A that the most important arcs of ReZero is going to be the first arc and is going to be the last arc. But as of right now, I'm just going to have to keep Arc 1 in last because we do not have that information yet, and there is clearly stuff that we don't know about this arc that is yet to be revealed. One of those being, how Reinhard at the very end of the Volume 1 of Arc 1 looks up at the moon and says that the moon is watching, which if you don't know, the moon is often correlated with Satella within ReZero. But yeah, as a story, Arc 1 does a good job on its own, introducing us to the characters, introducing us to the type of person that Subaru is, and while subtly hinting at his flaws and the problems with his character. Anyways, that does it for Arc 1. Let's move on to the next. Second to last, I got Arc 2. Now, Arc 2 is, again, another great arc, and I think this arc is great for so many other reasons than Arc 1 is. Arc 2 is the great representation of masculinity within ReZero, and it goes to show us, while trying to be tough and why trying to, not tell everybody about your problems is not going to work out with you. It lays the groundwork for the next arcs to come very well. And we see this when Subaru is working within the mansion and doing his job, where he, instead of just telling the people how he feels and opening up and being himself, is trying to put on this act, so Rem doesn't off him, obviously. But, doing this in turn inevitably leads to him being offed because he can't understand that him hiding who he really is making all of them very uncomfortable. My greatest moments from this arc is when Subaru cries on Emilia's lap, obviously Subaru's, little speech to Rem. Those are a couple of amazing moments, and we do get some interesting aspects like action within this arc, especially when Subaru goes to the village and he's fighting the demon dogs. On top of this, we also get introduced to some great characters within ReZero, such as Roswell and Beatrice and Rem and Ram. The mystery aspect for this arc is also good, but I have seen a couple people, complain that this arc does drag on for a bit longer than it should have, or there's one more loop than it should be. I personally disagree. I think this arc is great, and again, there really is no flaws to this arc. It's just that narratively speaking, this arc does not hold as much impact as per se something like Arc 3, Arc 4, Arc 5, Arc 6, Arc 7, Arc 8, Arc 9, like basically every other arc besides Arc 1, That is still to say though that this is a great arc and it gets its point done and it gets its job done and really starts to unfold Subaru's character and the problems with his character that we see, get completely unraveled later within Arc 3. It's able to lay the groundwork so that we like Subaru enough that when he does commit his actions within Arc 3, that we're not going to hate him completely and still going to have an open ear to him. And it shows us that his character still does have hope and that he can be good and that all of his actions within Arc 3 are not in vain and that character Natsuki Subaru is still a good person. Like I said, it sets up his relationship with Rem, which is monumental to later arcs. But you know how I keep saying the word set up, set up, set up, set up? That's kind of what this arc is. It is a set up arc. It sets up later events. So like inevitably, for those events to be unfolded would have to be within a better arc. This arc does a lot of setup for our character while introducing some interesting aspects and unfolding on them a bit more. So that's why it's going to be in second to last. Yeah, that does it for arc 2. Amazing arc. Let's move on to the next. Arc 1 and 2 are widely regarded as the worst ReZero arcs. I mean, that is widely agreed among the fandom. So it wasn't going to get controversial up until now, which in 7th place, I'm going to have Arc 5. Now, again, let me explain, okay? I think Arc 5 is an amazing arc, and I think Arc 5 does everything good and does everything well. There is really no flaws I personally have with Arc 5. I am completely fine that it takes a different turn and shows a more shonen aspect to it. Arc 5 is great in that it finally, expands upon this character growth we have seen all of our characters have. Having that 1 year time skip after the end of Arc 4 shows us within Arc 5 that, these characters have grown. An arc like Arc 5 is necessary to ReZero, and that without Arc 5, we would just be saying that these characters have had character development. Arc 5 is able to set aside and show us explicitly how these characters have grown, such as Emilia and Subaru. Subaru has some of his best moments within Arc 5, such as his speech to the people. More, a character like Garfield is amazing within Arc 5, and his familial dynamics and his relationship with his mother and seeing what goes on with that is just genuinely amazing, while him also being able to grow out of his shell, handle that situation that occurs, despite how traumatizing it obviously is, and be able to fight Kurgan and, hold his own and do a very good job is just an amazing scene. Not to mention, the anime had beautiful animation for this. Furthermore, I think Regulus as a villain was very interesting for Arc 5 and was a very good representation and display of kind of some yucky aspects of Subaru's character that we saw previously within an arc like Arc 3, and showed us while, Subaru wasn't entitled to everything, it's kind of what Regulus represented, that entitled, greedy, gross version of Subaru that we see then. That is what Regulus is. Somebody who thinks that just because of his sole existence, kind of like how Subaru did, just because he got isekai'd within this world, he thought he was going to get some sort of special powers and special abilities, which is obviously, as we know, not the case, and no one is just entitled to anything. Again, another pro of this arc is Reinhard. He has some of his most badass moments within this arc. Genuinely amazing. Again, another interesting, clip with the moon as Reinhard gets sent to the moon. This was cut from the anime, but, he tells Regulus, hey, you shouldn't have sent me to the moon, because obviously there's something there. Not to mention, another aspect of this arc is everything that goes on with the Estrella family drama. Theresia, Heinkel, Wilhelm, Reinhard, all of that is also amazing and very beautiful for their characters. The anime actually cut a bit of that out, but just know that it was great. Seeing all of that dialogue is very interesting, and that dynamic within ReZero is one of the best within the whole series, which will get expanded upon later. Seeing the generational trauma that has been passed down from Wilhelm to Heinkel to Reinhard, and the effects that it's had upon the family, and the fact that it has put Reinhard to the point where he is an emotionally empty character is very interesting. With all the pros of Arc 5, do I have any cons? Not necessarily. It's not that I have cons, I just feel like Arc 5 as an arc is, like I said, an exposition arc. Its sole purpose was to give us exposition upon the characters and work with plot progression. I don't think this necessarily hurts it as an arc, and there are still amazing moments within that arc. Again, it's just one of those scenarios where I feel like the other arcs are able to do more, and they have character arcs and character moments that I do like more. Also, the start of Arc 5 is a bit slow, if I had to give it one, negative. But to be fair, that was after the tumultuous events of Arc 4, which was constant action there towards the end. So for Arc 5 to start fast would be a bit counterintuitive. But yeah, I don't necessarily have any real problems with Arc 5, more so just that it's not as good as the other arcs for me. I mean, that's just me. What do you guys think though? I could be wrong. Anyways, let's move on to the next. Next up, I have Arc 7. I am probably going to get hate for this one, but I have mixed feelings towards Arc 7 a bit at times. I mean, I think overall Arc 7 is a great arc. It's just that it is undeniable, I feel like, that Tappei kind of started running in circles there for a bit. There were some parts of Arc 7 that were not necessary, and there were some characters within Arc 7 that kind of feel like they were pointless. Now, I still love Arc 7, and I have it above Arc 5 for a reason, despite its flaws. That's because it has so many amazing character moments between Subaru, other characters I don't want to spoil. I guess I should spoil. I mean, Arc 7 spoilers ahead, obviously I'm going to be talking about Arc 7, but between Subaru, Rem, Louis. I mean, there is so many great character moments, especially within the beginning of Arc 7. I think Arc 7 starts amazing. You get around the 40 chapters there, Subaru goes through his death loop where he has to call for Satella and stuff like that. All of that is amazing. It's more so the stuff on the Gladiator Island that I feel like starts running in a bit of a circle. We get a lot of named chapters and character moments for characters who are honestly probably one and dones within the story. Not at the fault of Tappe or anyone else, but more so the fact that ReZero is just too big of a story, and this story isn't about the Valachian Empire, it's about Lagunica and it's about Subaru's journey. So getting so much focus on these side characters, it feels a bit redundant at times. I've used this example before, but it feels like when you get kind of like an anime-only movie for a manga or an anime, and you get some characters introduced within that movie, and the story and all that like that's going on within the movie, cool as hell, like it's awesome, but like after that movie, it's like you don't really see them again. It's like when you introduce a character early within a series and they just kind of get side-casted. It's like they're not important for the narrative as it progresses along. So it's like that kind of just takes away some of it for me. It's safe to say the highlight of Arc 7 is Subaru's relationships with characters such as Todd and Vincent. It is actually amazing, and I know a lot of people read Arc 6 and don't continue after that. Don't do that. Like, finish Arc 6, go to Arc 7, read Arc 7, it's amazing. And the reason I say you should read Arc 7 is because it leads me to my next arc within this video, that being Arc 8. Arc 8 is amazing. I kind of wanted to put Arc 8 and Arc 7 together, honestly, but if I had to rank the two, I do think Arc 8 is better. It is a much more tight and concise story. I know it is technically the continuing of the story, and Arc 8 is more so just the climax of all of Arc 7, if we were being honest with here. But Arc 8 is amazing, especially the ending of Arc 8. Arc 8, spoilers ahead, obviously, I mean, I can't talk about these arcs without, having spoilers, but the ending of Arc 8 is just amazing with Priscilla's death, the curtain close, and the scene between Al and Subaru and what that sets off. Seeing Subaru, after going through so many loops and so many moments within Arc 7 and Arc 8, to die and go back and save people and save people and save people, finally have to just sit there, fall to his knees, and crumble as Priscilla fades, as she tells him, Subaru, stop. Like, you don't do this. Like, don't do this. I don't want this. The world is going to be a better place if I am not here. There are people who are happy with how it turned out. And just Al sitting there, screaming at Subaru to return by death, screaming viciously to do it, to do it, to do it. And Subaru just not being able to move, and finally respecting the feelings of, somebody else, which it kind of takes a dive into Subaru's hero complex that is very expanded upon between Arc 7 and Arc 8, and it's probably my favorite character problem and moment with Subaru within Arc 7 and Arc 8 is that hero complex he had. Whether it be all the way back within Arc 7, Rem telling Subaru that he is not a hero, or, moment like this at the end of Arc 8, it is just an amazing conclusion to the journey Subaru went on within Arc 7 and Arc 8, especially as he got turned into that child form and his confidence went up like tenfold, and he was able to gather everybody around him and, rally the Valachian Empire as the Child of War. I got Arc 8 above Arc 7. I think Arc 8 is an amazing arc. Together, these are both amazing. If we're putting these together, they'd probably be above what I have next, but I'm gonna leave them separately because they are, separate arcs at the end of the day. Yeah, for me personally, Arc 8's ending just puts it above Arc 7 and puts it above these last couple of arcs, because this was the first moment within ReZero that we've had a permanent impact and decision where Subaru and Al were both present and couldn't go back, or I should say could go back and erase it, but inevitably chose not to. I think this is just an amazing moment, and it really tied together, narratively speaking, all of Arc 7 and Arc 8. So yeah, that's why I got Arc 8 above Arc 7 and above these past arcs. Next up, I'm gonna have the incompleted arc, Arc 9. I think what Arc 9 has already done is, okay, Arc 9 is here right now because it is not complete. As of right now, as of the recording of this video, I have only read up to chapter 39. I have not read chapter 40. Obvious Arc 9 spoilers ahead, but at least from where I'm at, Otto just got his memories eaten and all of that crazy stuff, and the battle between Reinhardt and Al, Subaru getting sealed, the betrayal from Al. All of this is insanely amazing. Al fighting Amelia, Wilhelm, and the Heinkel. Dude, this arc has been so much stuff within just 40 chapters. It's honestly insane, and it's hurting me to not put it higher because I know when the arc is complete, I will have it higher. It's just that it's not complete, and to give a complete narrative, or an incomplete narrative, I should say, put an incomplete narrative above a couple of narrative arcs that I think are generally amazing would just feel like a bit of a disservice to those arcs. Although I am doing it to arc 7 and arc 8 right now, but it's because I think arc 9, for what is already done between these 40 chapters, is so tight and so concise and brings so much impact back to the ReZero main storyline that it deserves to be here. And I think the exposition and expanding we have had upon Al's character has just been so amazing. Also, the clear correlation and seemingly truth that him and Subaru might be the same person, or I should rather say that Al is like a knockoff clone version of Subaru. I think when Arc 9 is completed, it could be the best arc of ReZero. I really, truthfully do, just because of how many great character moments we've had. And all of this, when Subaru's not even here, it's showing Tappei, like, his side character writing. This series is so much more than Subaru. I know the events revolve around Subaru, but a big complaint I see about ReZero is that the story is just so revolved around Subaru, which is kind of silly considering he's the main character. Like, obviously it revolves around Subaru, but we are getting side characters right now who are X-folding and showing great character growth. My favorite moment of this arc right now is Wilhelm's battle and inevitably the backstabbing he got from Heinkel. Dude, that scene was literally amazing. Like, I'm just nerding out on it right now, but just know, like, that scene was amazing. It was so good. I gotta make a video on the Heinkel family drama because it is just amazing. Anyways, let's move on to the next. Arc 9 is amazing. We need to hear more about it for me to put it higher. It just hasn't come out yet. We're only on chapter 40, so yeah, just know Arc 9 is amazing. Yes, I truthfully do think Arc 9, only 40 chapters in, is better than Arc 7 and Arc 8 already. That's just my take, my opinion. You can flame me in the comments below all you want, but let's go on to the next. Next up, this is probably going to be my most controversial take of the video, but I have Arc 3 within a top 3 arc of ReZero. I think Arc 3 is so unbelievably underrated, it's not even funny. Arc 3 is essentially the conclusion to the prologue of ReZero. This is what builds up Subaru's whole character. There is so many memorable and amazing moments within Arc 3, whether that be Rem's speech to Subaru, Subaru saving Amelia, Subaru's freak out at Amelia. Arc 3 within itself, like, if I think about it like this, Arc 3 could be a movie. It is a story within itself. Season 1 of ReZero, I should say, is a story within itself. We finally get the exposition on what has been building up between Arc 1 and Arc 2, as I had mentioned earlier. The crumbs and the cracks at Subaru's character and who he truly is and the person he is deep down inside. Arc 3 is when it finally expands all of this and tackles Subaru's character directly, where he has to go up against Betelgeuse, who I still think, to this day, is one of the greatest villains within all of ReZero. Arc 3 serves the purpose of taking Subaru's character and finally thrusting him onto the forefront, having him start from zero, as mentioned in From Zero, and having a true character that he wants to be. It is the start of Subaru's true hero journey. Everything before that is pointless. Not to mention, it has one of the greatest moments within all of ReZero, being, the madness scene where Puck cuts off Subaru's head. There's just so many amazing moments within this arc, and not to mention the anime did cut a good amount of moments too. But Arc 3's ability to make you go from literally hating Subaru on episode 13, where he freaks out at Amelia and the truth comes clean, where he is freaking out and screaming at her, telling he did everything for her and stuff like that, and that she has to repay him, she has to reward him, when he's really just talking about himself and exfoliating and expanding his deep insecurities onto her, and her actually being able to walk away from Subaru after, being by his side this whole entire time is just so amazing. Going from that low of a character moment to somebody who is able to expand on their emotions and reveal that they were a hikikomori, did nothing with their life, they felt like a nobody. All of this that has been built up between all of the beginning arcs, and have Subaru go from that and be able to actually listen to the people around him and rely on the people around him and not be sinful, not be wrathful, not be greedy, take one on the chin, actually be able to understand that he can't always get everything is just amazing. Also, the representation of psychological trauma within this arc is also amazing. When Subaru is fighting Betelgeuse and that is going on, Subaru's insanity is going literally ridiculously. There is a scene within the light novel of Arc 3 where Subaru is driven to the point of insanity so much, or I shouldn't say insanity, but like psychological trauma, that when he is talking to the cruise camp, he literally picks up like a fucking spoon like this and threatens them with the spoon. Like he's like looking around, and it's an embarrassing scene, but that's the point. Subaru is so psychologically driven and traumatized and wrathful at this point within the series that he is threatening them with a literal spoon. Like, it is just amazing, bro. Again, not to mention, well, I guess I don't know if you would consider this arc 4 or arc 3, but the end of arc 3 with Rem losing her memories, the one crutch Subaru was relying on to help his character, and the person that was there for him, you know, just being erased, is soul crushing. I mean, it's through thick and thin, it is just a generally amazing arc. And with Subaru finally being able to save and help Amelia for the right reasons, not for himself, not because he wants her, but because he loves her. He says, I love you, Amelia. He truthfully loves her. The one woman who is there for him no matter what, within every previous loop and every previous moment within ReZero, the person who stopped being on their quest to just help him, he is finally able to help them out of his own vehement will and her wanting so. So yeah, that's why I have arc 3 and 3rd. I think it's an amazing arc. I think it is the most underrated arc within ReZero. Anyways, let's move on to second. Within second place, I have arc 4 of ReZero, aka the best character development. Well, I don't know if I should say that. The second best character development arc within all of ReZero. As you could literally see by its promotional image of our characters breaking out of their shell. All of them having their character moment and their character development, whether that be Garfield, Amelia, Subaru, Otto, they all have a moment within this arc. Not to mention, a very underrated aspect of arc 4 is the plot twist that Roswaal is the one pulling the strings. I don't know why this isn't mentioned enough. This is an insane thing with Roswaal with his, Wish version of the Book of Wisdom, his ability to pull the strings and manipulate Subaru to the point where he's at within the current arc of ReZero is an amazing reveal. I don't see people appreciate it that much, but on a character growth aspect, seeing Subaru and Amelia's relationship get thrusted into the forefront is probably my favorite aspect of arc 4. While arc 1, 2, and 3 were able to build up and complete that dynamic between Subaru and Amelia, it is arc 4 that really expands upon it and shows us that, a relationship doesn't have to be perfect. You're not supposed to be idly in love with the idea of somebody. Somebody is going to have flaws. Somebody is going to have problems. And when Subaru tried to confront this previously within arc 3, he had issues. He was not going about it the right way. But when he does it within arc 4, it is amazing. He is able to tell Amelia to her face, not out of brute strength and hatred for himself, but out of genuine dislikes he has for her, and tell her, hey, listen, you're not perfect. You're not amazing. You're not this ideal creature, But that's exactly why I still love you, that scene right there is amazing. She doesn't have to be perfect for Subaru to still want her. And him finally getting that point across is one of my favorite moments within arc 4. Not to mention my favorite moment within arc 4, and still what I consider to be a top 5 moment within ReZero, that being parent and child. Finally getting the full expanded backstory of Subaru's character really characterizes him so much more. Subtle symbolism that we see within this episode, and the hints at who Subaru is, and his parents trying to indirectly push him, to move up and get up within his life is amazing. And it's such a relatable and great episode, and great scene and great moment within the story, if we're being honest. He directly confronts Subaru's identity crisis, and the fact that he grew up always living within the shadow of his own father. The fact that this man right here was so great, so amazing, Subaru felt as if he had to live up to his pedestal. He spent his whole life chasing a name, an identity, one that he could never fully reach or attain. And the struggle and burden of chasing an identity and a name collapses in on Subaru as he goes from being the best at everything to somebody who is looking in every possible avenue to fit his character, to fit his person, try to figure out who he could be. Because at the end of the day, Natsuki Subaru doesn't know who Natsuki Subaru is. All he's looking at is Kenichi and trying to be who Kenichi is, which inevitably leads Subaru to crumbling. He collapses in on himself. He stops going to school. He stops doing any work. He stops going out. He stops doing anything. And just when he finds much more comfort living within solitude, as he doesn't have to worry about the people around him judge him and compare him to Kenichi. So finally getting this expanded bit of character growth and characterization for Subaru just recontextualize everything that we see within season 1 and previously within ReZero. It explains Subaru's character so much more, and his actions and his speech to Rem and from Zero and all of that. It is just amazing. Not to mention a very underrated character of arc 4, that being Amelia herself, her own character growth and her own struggles with identity. I think a very underrated aspect of ReZero is Amelia's trials and her confronting her own past. Just like Subaru, Amelia was somebody who struggled with identity growing up, but for a completely different reason. Amelia's constant comparisons to the witch led her to not even being able to look at herself within the mirror, to the point where she literally developed and added a clause to her contract with Puck that she could not look in any sort of reflection because she could not bear to see the sight of herself. It's an interesting dynamic, and where Subaru is constantly getting the comparison of somebody who is so great and amazing, that being his father, Amelia is getting the constant comparison of somebody who is horrible and considered the worst person in the world. So to these people, it's like you're being compared to the best person in the world and the worst person in the world. And it shows in both ways how these stereotypes or, comparisons, whether good or bad, can lead to somebody's own personality and index crumbling. Amelia's ability to confront those repressed memories and actually go in and see the type of person she was and look back at her childhood and actually be able to get through that is amazing. And she does this all without the help of Subaru. She does it on her own. She doesn't need Subaru to do it for her. She's actually able to progress and move forward within herself and be her own person, showing Subaru that he does not have to do everything for her. And the exposition on this within Arc 5, by the way, and Amelia being the main one who actually attacks and does a lot of the damage to Regulus, is very good and very well set up. But Subaru and Amelia's dynamic, it's just my favorite part of Arc 4. It is amazing. Not to mention what's going on with other characters such as Beatrice and Otto. Choose me, while I think it is a bit overrated, it's still one of the most amazing moments within all of ReZero. Beatrice is a Hikikimori herself. She sits in her room all day, doesn't do anything, doesn't leave, and waiting for somebody to come in and save her, all because a book told her over 400 years ago that it will happen. So for Subaru, somebody who is in a very similar position, to be that person and be able to be the one who saves her necessarily is just amazing, because he understands, he has been in a situation like that. But more so, the teaching of him to her that it doesn't matter who that person is, it doesn't matter, you have your own will, you need to make your own choice. Just amazing again. As for Otto, his confrontation to Subaru and the message that Subaru needs to rely on the people around him and say, hey Subaru, like, listen, you need to listen here. Having friends is so people can help you, not so you could just sit on your ass and do everything on your own. It's selfish of you and extremely rude to not have your friends help you. Subaru was being greedy within Arc 4, not in the sense that he wanted everything, but in the sense that he was trying to complete everything on his own. You get the gist, you get the point. I think this arc is amazing. I feel like I've gotten that point across pretty well. So let's move on to what I consider, and honestly what everybody at this point right now considers, the best arc within all of ReZero. And in at number 1, we got Arc 6. Arc 6 is, obvious spoilers ahead by the way, just such an amazing arc for Subaru's character growth. And not just Subaru's character growth, but Amelia's character growth, Julius's character growth. Arc 6 had me caring and loving, damn near tears over characters like Melee that I never thought I would give a fuck about within reading ReZero at all. But let's talk about the main guy, Natsuki Subaru, and specifically him losing his memories. Holy, this was amazing. Once again, Natsuki Subaru thrusted into a position, a world, where he has to... I want you to think about it like this. Natsuki Subaru was somebody who struggled with identity growing up. He had to sit there and constantly listen to the comparisons of somebody who is supposedly great and amazing and have to live up to that will. Well, when Subaru was isekai to the ReZero world, we got a new reiteration of it. Subaru no longer had to worry about the comparisons to Kenichi. He could finally progress forward and try to be his own person, which he does so in vain within the beginning arcs, but it gets to a point such as within Arc 3, Arc 4, and Arc 5 that Subaru is actually able to become his own person for his own reasons, not trying to, outbeat or do it to anybody else. So what happens when you get that iteration of Subaru all the way back from Arc 1, the one that struggled with the burden of Kenichi, the one that was doing all his actions within vain, and you implement him into a later arc of ReZero in which the new and improved Subaru has been able to complete so much and do so much and sacrifice so much for so many people. Well, what you get is the greatest representation of character growth within media, as we see Subaru so befuddled by the supposed acts that Natsuki Subaru has done. He literally cannot believe it or understand or, circumcise how this Natsuki Subaru has done all that much, because he knows deep down what type of man Natsuki Subaru is. Not only does he have to hear the comparisons he had to his father and live with that in his mind, well, now he has to hear the comparisons to supposedly himself, this Natsuki Subaru guy who's done just so much amazing stuff, when in reality, he feels like he's done nothing. It's honestly just so amazing. So for that iteration of Natsuki Subaru, the one who's done so much, to be able to tell this new one that, hey, look, you're an amazing guy, you've done so much, is just amazing on so many indescribable levels. As that Natsuki Subaru right there, mind you, was the one he's talking to. It's the same guy. He was at that point at one point. He went through all of those events too. He knew about the Kenichi. So for him to be able to sit there and tell himself that, listen, you're amazing, there's nothing wrong with you, you're a great person, it's just Dude, it's so good. It's so good. Not to mention Amelia asking for Subaru's name, the reflection, the parallel we get all the way back to arc 1. It's just amazing. Furthermore, a character like Julius, who is struggling with his identity obviously more and more because he had his name eaten. So it's like everything about him was erased, and then he has to go up to the pillar of swordsmanship, being Reed Estrella, and fight him. Yet again, another Estrella mocking Julius, essentially, as we see that with Reinhardt. You know, Julius felt a bit shallow always in comparison to Reinhardt. Everything was taken from Julius. Everything. His name, his love, his family, his princess or whatever. All he has left is that sword. And so for him to be beaten down and destroyed twice is just amazing. But for him to come to the realization through Subaru's help that he's more than just his sword. Subaru is still there for him. He's Julius. It's so good. Like, Julius himself has worth, has identity, has value. It doesn't matter. He could be the best swordsman in the world or the worst swordsman in the world. It is Julius Euclides that has value within his name. Arc 6 is amazing for those character aspects, and on top of that, the mystery and lore aspects of Arc 6 are also amazing. And we get some of the most brutal deaths within this arc, especially at the beginning of Arc, and not to mention those goddamn stairs. But yeah, Arc 6 is amazing. It's my favorite arc in ReZero. It's most people's favorite arc in ReZero. And no way is this a hot take. But yeah, about does it for the video today, guys. Let me know what you think. What are your arc rankings? I did my best to explain myself and try to give my justifications as to why I have which and where. If you disagree with me in the comments below, let me know. If I had to guess, I am probably going to get a lot of disagreements around Arc 7 and Arc 8 because I do have those pretty low, and probably Arc 5 too, honestly, and I do have Arc 3 pretty high. If I'm being honest, my rankings do change pretty consistently, but this is just where I'm at right now as we speak with the current ReZero. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe. Let me know if you want me to talk about any other series, because there are a lot of series I am actually interested in talking about, whether that be Dexter, Squid Game, all that type of stuff. So yeah, anyways, peace out. That was my ReZero arc rankings, and have a good day.